Hey everybody! All right, so wanted to give you an update on the resin kit I bought a few months ago now from Larson Lunar Models. I bought the Space 1999 Eagle Laboratory Pod kit for the 22-inch long Eagle. Okay, so I started this, and definitely the rumors are true. When you have a resin kit, definitely takes extra work. It takes filling and fitting and filing and sanding, and just it takes a little bit more effort than a standard plastic kit. Some better than others, I guess. This one I came up with a few things. First of all, it's really hard to put these together. So I got to figure out where to start. So I decided to put the part of the pod that sticks out onto the walls and the top part. Actually, I put the top piece, which is part of the top roof, on first. I super glued that. Now, when I started to put this together, I realized that for it to click together, because there are certain parts that sort of fit and click in, I couldn't really center this exactly. Okay, so it's slightly to the right or slightly to the left by a little tiny bit, not a big deal. Okay, so I did that on both sides, and then I proceeded to glue one whole side, the wall and roof, with an end, and I did the same thing on this side so that I can put the two together. Now, when I did that, I realized that the bottom of the pod was not square, or was not coming out square. So I ended up removing one of the ends off, and actually I tested it. I took this and I flipped it over, because there's really no marking. So I mean, except for this, but really there's no reference on what's the front and what's the back. So I flipped this over, and the gap is a little bit better. As you can see here, there will be a tiny gap there on this end. Okay, and I'm going to fill in that gap with a piece of styrene sheet. And when I end up putting this next one in, it's going to end up where it's going to be off like this. I'm exaggerating, but it's going to be closer on one end and larger on the other end. So I'm going to end up putting some styrene on there also, maybe a little sanding. So this is coming along. I mean, it's going to take me longer than I thought, but that's okay. I guess it's a neat little project and practice for resin kits. I mean, there's little tiny things about it also. You got holes, in certain spots, like a door. You got around the edge, perimeter edge. Some of these not quite flush, so I'll fill that in with some Vallejo putty. So, takes a little work. These are the resin rocket nozzles. So I painted those already. At least my first coat. I'm gonna do a little bit more, but these don't look too bad. Of course, you have the two larger ones. One goes underneath each one of the side extension of the pods, and then the four middle ones end up going here and here, just like in the original pod. So anyway, that's my progress for right now. I'm gonna continue on slowly. So I want this to look good. Oh, and the other thing I did was I also measured the actual distance, the distance I need, the size I need to fit into my Eagle. Okay, and once you get that reference, you should be able to be within 1/8 of an inch of that. And I also figured out here's one of my Eagles. I also figured out that when you're putting in the pod, my camera's having trouble here. When you're putting in the pod, no matter what pod it is, many times it starts to scrape up against these ends, and they can scratch the surface of the paint. That's a real pain in the neck. It's already happened to me once. So I did discover that if you gently flex the spine upwards, so basically flex it like this, so this becomes like a U, kind of. Just like hold down in the center and flex up slightly. That's plenty of clearance to put in your pod. For example, since I'm here doing this video, I'll give you a quick look of my interior that is very close to being finished. There's a lot of details I put in here already. So this I'll show you a little more detail, but this is almost done. I'm really psyched about this. So anyway, if you try to fit this in, let me get it in camera. Try to fit it in. It's kind of a tight fit, but if you flex here, let's show you this way. If you flex the body of the eagle upwards, if you flex the body of the eagle upwards a little bit, very slightly, not a lot, this fits right in. Okay, having trouble getting it to clear on that side, but you get the idea. This will fit right in. If you flex it just a little bit like that. All right. Also, one last thing before I end this video. There has not been an official release announcement yet, but I do have under very, very good authority that MPC will be releasing a full official kit of a 22-inch long eagle with a laboratory pod. And there will be a separate package for the additional spine rocket boosters. Just like in the episode The Metamorph, where you had the laboratory pod and then you had extra rocket boosters that look like this on the spine, back here, angled. That's going to be a separate add-on package. So I guess they're trying to cut down on cost for that. And there will be an official release package of the laboratory pod. They're both going to be released in 2020. I don't know if it's going to be early 2020 or late 2020. But just thought I'd let you guys know about that. All right, until next time.